we have put together this solution in order to help people solve one of the biggest problems they have with their disparate data using AI in quite an interesting different scenario. So what we've got here is a dashboard here showing the ability to go and question and query AI, give it some prompts, and off it goes. It will then go and look through using the Microsoft Agentic framework. But there's some interesting additions we've added here. So first off, we want to basically allow the user to specify what they're looking for. What's their job? What's their responsibility? Do they have KPIs? And so in this example, we're a game company who are looking at all of their data across all of their platforms in all the different locations and solve problems. So first of all, I'm going to set my objective. In this example, we have increased revenue by 35%, but you could also look at engagement. You can look at churn rates. You can look at all the other things that are important to you specifically. So now I can do what traditionally people would do is they would use AI to ask a question like, show me the top performing games. So what's happening here is the solution is spinning up a group chat in Azure Foundry between a bunch of agents. And those agents exist across SQL and the Fabric data agent. It will find out anything useful from the data. It will come back with a nice, easy to use summary. It will even try and resolve issues where if it can't find, for example, the word DAO, it will then go and query the database to get the actual telemetry or KPI names. And then it will come back with the final results. And then it will summarize it. If it identifies some insights, it will highlight those. And the goal is to share some widgets of charts so the user can then see as well as read what the summary is. Okay, so here we go. It's found something useful around an insight based on my objectives. So what it's doing here is it's looking through the data with the lens of my specific role. So that objective that I set when it's querying the Fabric data using the Fabric data agent, or it's using the connector from my orchestrator agent, it's always using the objectives or my lens to go and review data and why it will be interesting to me as a specific user. So it's created a couple of charts, easy for me to see what's going on and what data is happening. But more importantly, I can click on the insight, I can see it in a bit more detail, and then I can go and investigate it. So here's a game I want to investigate a bit further, and maybe AI has basically generated this thread that I can pull on. Rather than me having to know what I'm looking for and search for it and use the right language, I can interact with my data with natural language, but I can also have AI suggest some things to go look at. So I'm going to explain a bit more. So what's going on here? Implement some more monetization features similar to Game C within Game E, and then focus on non-intrusive options, battle passes, optional ads, and cosmetics to help improve monetization. Okay, so let's run a hypothesis. So create a hypothesis agent. Now, in this example, what I would have to do is, as the human in the loop here, is I would have to go off and then implement this thing. So I would either go and send somebody an email or a group of people an email, or I would then go and maybe edit something on the e-commerce store to change the discount rate or whatever it may be. But in this, I can actually connect these agents via either MCP servers or connectors through APIs to go and implement this test myself on my behalf. So I want this to roll out to 5% of users, that's 500 users, and I go and initiate the test. So it's going to run this hypothesis for me, and it will then go and send the email, or it will go and update the e-commerce platform store, or it will go and do whatever I want it to do. And then it will test it for those 5% of users, and it will keep track of that particular hypothesis. And this will run for, in this example, it's 60 days. And then I get the option to extend it if I think it's useful, or in fact, grow the number of users that are being implemented. And every day, this solution will generate insights based on the data and allow you to spin up these multiple hypothesis agents that are not ephemeral per se, but they will last for the length of the program. You can extend it a bit more and report back to the orchestrator agent, and you can decide whether to take action on rolling that out more broadly, or you can limit it to just the hypothesis if you disprove it or prove it. It's entirely up to you, and based on the human in the loop, you can decide the action accordingly. But just to clarify, what AI has done here is identify something that's interesting, created a hypothesis to prove or disprove it, and then being able to enact it across the organization. And I'm able to run multiple hypotheses at once and continually monitor them. There's multiple hypothesis agents that exist in Azure Foundry, and they're all porting their findings back every day to the orchestrator agent, which can then take definitive action on continuing it or canceling it or retiring it. So to conclude, we're using Azure Foundry, Microsoft Fabric, we're using Fabric Preview Data Agents, and we're using the new agents in Azure Foundry to create workflows, and we're using GPT-5, and we're using the newly announced Claude Sonnet model and Claude Opus models to be able to find useful information amongst your data across all of your data sources, as long as it's in Fabric, and then take action on that data to prove or disprove the theory, and then be able to roll that theory out across the entire organizational stack if it's proven to be a successful hypothesis.